it's Tanya from Royal City Nursery, and today we are talking about winterizing your trees and shrubs. It's actually a lot easier than you think, but if you need a hand, please make sure you give us a call, or we can actually come out and do it for you. We're booking fall winterizings right now. So if you want to do it on your own, there's a few things to keep in mind. Plants like hydrangeas, whether it's the panicle that has the cone-shaped flower, or it's the macrophyllus that have the ball-shaped flower, we're going to do nothing with. Leave the flowers on, let them dry. You can see this one's already starting to dry. It's really pretty. If you want to prune them, maybe you wait until November and just prune the flower stalks off, because then you can paint some funky colors and put them in your Christmas pots. But other than that, hydrangeas do nothing. It's awesome. Most flowering shrubs we're going to do very, very little with. The difference though is if we've had some leaf spot or some powdery mildew or rust on our plants. And we've seen a lot of that this year because it was so wet, and then it got humid, then it got dry, then it got so wet again. So if we look at something like this viburnum here, it's just starting to do a little bit of fall color, but it definitely does have a few leaf spots, and that's okay. It's normal, it's natural, but we want to make sure once the leaves all drop, we're going to rake the leaves and get them off the property. Don't compost them, because the spores will actually go back and winter in the soil and come up next spring. Better yet, you want to make sure that once the leaves have dropped, you're doing some dusting sulfur on the ground, because this will actually kill those spores that we talked about, right? So a little bit of dusting sulfur right underneath the plant will make a big difference, and it'll reduce your diseases for next season. We all have rabbits, mice, deer. Some of us have deer, and there's an unbelievable amount of critters that eat things. It's too early to deal with them yet, but there's two products you can do. One is called Bobax. That's this one here, so it comes in a ready-to-use pump sprayer. And the other one is Plant Skid. Plant Skid's organic, Bobax is a synthetic. The animals don't like the taste of these. This is safe for the plants. The only plants I would not put this on is something you actually intend to eat, like right away. If you've got blueberries still bearing, please do not spray your blueberry bushes right now, because you're going to absorb the taste into the berry, and that's just gross. The other thing to keep in mind with both of these products is you're going to spray it twice. Once at the end of November, early December, and then once again middle of January, end of January, when it gets that really, really cold snap. The Canadian forestry industry uses this one here, uses Plant Skid. Again, totally organic. When we think about our evergreens, because that's a lot of times what things get, our cedars and spruce get munched on over the winter, then we need to make sure we remember to wrap them. So when we're looking at a cedar or a spruce or juniper, anything that's upright, we do want to do some wrapping in burlap. And at this time of year when it's nice and warm, I actually go outside and I pound the stakes in the ground, because I can do this, it's nice and warm, right? When I think about the stake length, this is almost perfect. I can use one that's this height, so I've just got a bit at the top poking out, or I can use one that's actually going to be over the entire top, whatever you like. The only thing we don't want to do is I don't want to use a stake that's going to be that tall, right? This is too much plant sticking out. If I put the stakes in the ground now, I know the neighbors are going to think you're cracked, but that's okay. They can join the party. And then at the end of November, take your burlap out with a staple gun, and you're going to staple it to the stakes. It doesn't take you that long. You're not out there cold and miserable and cranky. You can get back inside where it's nice and warm. And your trees are actually going to stay nice and warm. We want to make sure that we're wrapping our trees with a burlap like this if we're worried about wind, or if we're not worried about wind, we use this one. And this is just a tree wrap. Look at that fine, fine netting. So this netting does not need any stakes, right? I don't need to stake it. All I need to do, I'm just going to spiral this just like, I'm just going to spiral it around the plant all the way up. All this does is hold the plant tight, so when we get that really heavy wet snow in January, it doesn't peel open like a banana. Super, super easy, and we actually get to see the plant, not the burlap. The only other thing I would recommend is make sure for all of your fruit trees, even your native fruit bearing trees, so things like your service berries, crab apples, mountain ash, apples, pears, cherries, plums, all of those, please make sure to wrap the trunks. And this is a trunk wrap protector, super, super easy. All I'm going to do is just put it around the trunk, and this will actually protect it from being eaten by rabbits and mice. got to remember that mice travel under the snow and rabbits travel on top of the snow. So if you're getting knee-deep snow, you've got a bunny on there who's now standing on its hind legs. So you're going to get rabbit damage up to chest high. So you need one of these to go on those fruit-bearing trunks to again, reduce the rabbit damage. This goes on in November, comes off in March, and we just store it in the garage until we need it. I know that's a lot of stuff. There's still a little bit more. We'll do a little bit more later on, but I hope that helps. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.